out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
After an amazing race last week at the Tricky Triangle, we come to another track that is known for being very tricky to get around very quickly. Welcome to Lucas Oil Raceway at Indianapolis Raceway Park. For round number 6 of the CleanRacing.net Truck Series, Tony Trapasso, Frank Marchese up in the booth with you. And Frank, this is the second race this season that we have gotten to come to this facility. So many historic races have taken place here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of the more fun and technically challenging racetracks that we're going to be coming to. If you've been watching the Super Late Model AI series over the weekends, you'll know that this racetrack is one where you have to be fast up at the top, which means there's going to be limited opportunities for passing in limited places where you can get it done.
Very similar to what you would see at a place like Darlington, only the problem is this place is not egg-shaped. It is an actual oval, and there's relatively no banking in the corners, so you really have to be comfortable up near that wall at speed. And, you know, from what we've seen in the hot lap session, some guys are a little braver than others.
Yeah, absolutely. And these guys are also going to have to figure their way around on that outside line. There's not, as you'd said, there's not a lot of banking here, but there is some. And it's a lot more prevalent the closer you get to the wall, which is why you're seeing these guys. You can see it in this overhead shot here. not on that very bottom, because that is not the place you're going to want to be around here tonight.
It absolutely is not. But, taking a look at the point standings coming into tonight, it's tightened up just a wee bit. And the points are not coming up for me. Why are they not? There we go. That is correct. Jason Higginbottom's currently leading the points. Only 1 point to the good over Austin Carey after both those drivers. Higginbottom had a night he just as soon forget from Pocono. Austin Carey had a top 5, so pretty decent run for the 22 team. Greg Barnett sitting in third at 36 points, only 6 points out from second. But he's got Adam Duff right on his tail. Nate Brown not that far back either.
Yeah, no, he's not. And after a great race last week, great finish to last week's race, Higginbottom coming up just a little bit short, as we saw. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys are going to translate off of the bigger racetrack. And with the points as tight as they are, that means anything can happen. And if somebody falls to the back, it's going to be in a big swing in the points as we enter round number 5, the halfway point of this season.
It absolutely is going to be a big swing in the points. And if you take a look, defending series champion Josh Lilly, after missing last week's race, did drop to 8th. But the good news is, if you're a Joey Steyer's fan, with finally getting the curse of Pocono off of him, coming home with a victory last week, that vaults him up into the top 18 in points, sitting back there in 17th.
Yeah, absolutely. And Josh Lilly is here, by the way. And then you said 17th, Joey Steyer's. He is here as well. So these guys are certainly going to be looking to jump back up to pick up some lost ground, at least in Lilly's case, pick up some ground that he may have lost at missing Pocono last week.
Absolutely. As right now, sitting atop the pile in the hot lap session is that man, the man who won back at Loudon, Nate Brown, showing that he definitely knows how to get around flat tracks. And that is for certain, as he's currently sitting way atop the timing and scoring charts right now. Almost 70 thousandths to the good over second place as we now click over to qualifying. And Frank, this is definitely going to be one for the ages.
Yeah, certainly. It's going to be a lot of guys here. It's going to be a lot of close racing, a lot of tight action, a lot of side-by-side racing here for 160 laps. It's going to be fun.
It absolutely is. Looks like Dustin Harrell is going to bring the John Deere Ford F-150 out on track first. And you can see that these guys are running max tape for this qualifying session. Open setup league here with the CleanRacing.net Truck Series. So some guys are going to be running one setup. Some guys are going to be running a different setup. And we're going to see some long runs come into play. We're going to see some short runs come into play. It all depends on what the driver really prefers. As Parker Collins has definitely got to make up some points now as Adam Duff goes to the top of the pile. As Parker Collins led the majority of laps last week with 48 of the 70 and just came up a tick short from being on the podium. Let's see what type of work he can put in here tonight at IRP.
Jason Higginbottom at the top now, surpassed by Nathan Brown in the 69 at 22:34 for Brown as he heads his way down the back straightaway. Jeremy Moore up to third. Darren Staff done in fourth. Parker Collins goes fastest of all on his second lap.
By Brown a full 10th.
Brown coming out of turn 4 on his second. They tied, or at least to the 10th, or at least to the 100th.
They did at
Collins
that.
keeps the lap.
And making his debut tonight, that's a familiar name, in the Balls Garana number 6 Toyota Tundra. Longtime friend of the league, Chris Worrell. And gets it wrong coming out of 2 on his opening salvo. See what type of lap he can actually lay down here. It's going to be one and done for Worrell, unfortunately.
He's out and rolling again here. So, yeah, he will only have just the one lap to get it done. 22:236 for Parker Collins. Nathan Brown at 22.242 as Stiers hits the wall on his first lap. That'll force a reset.
That will enforce a reset as Worrell kind of tiptoeing right now, coming out of pit road. Knows he's got to get that truck up to speed and those tires up to temp as quickly as he possibly can. Tries to square it off, coming off of 4 to get a good shot. As we are going to bring up the dashboard. Oh!
That's trying to get a little too much.
That's definitely trying to get a bit too much there. As that is going to... Well, he's going to have one more shot at it. Apparently he did not take the green.
He did. He doesn't have another lap. I think this is just going to be testing. However, Stephen Tuck and Joey Stiers on his one and only lap. Tuck about to start his first of 2 as Stiers will take the green flag here. Green and white together.
Flirting with that outside wall. Now, the thing is, you cannot be afraid to get a stripe here at IRP, but with the iRacing algorithm, if you so much as look funny at that wall on your outlap, it's going to negate your lap. So Stiers coming around for his one and only flyer. P4. Not too shabby.
Stephen Tuck's 16th at the moment in that Monster Energy number 10.
But now he has some heat into the tires of that Toyota Tundra as he's running a little bit lower in 3 and 4 than we normally see. Taking a very unconventional line here for IRP. And lap number 2 is going to improve him to 15th anyways.
Blaine Hostler, Abram Ghostin, John Anthony, Brian Toole, Mike McRae, and Frederick Garcia have not set a qualifying time. Chris Worrell on track running practice laps. He's the only one that has not set a time or that has gone out in an attempt to set a time, yes,
right.
and will not.
Well, let's see what type of lap this is going to be for Worrell, as he's admittedly has not had a lot of laps here, as none of the other leagues that we normally see him in have ever come to IRP, so not too shabby of a lap. 22.236.
I would have put him up in around 4th or 5th.
Yeah. So, qualifying now done and dusted, as we are going to take a look at tonight's starting grid for round 6 here from Lucas Oil Raceway Park. Parker Collins setting quick time with a 2.236. 5 1,000ths to the good over Nate Brown. Josh Lilly and Joey Stiers. Going to be a family affair in row number 2. Evan Kinney and Jason Higginbottom's making up row number 3, with Jeremy Moore and Darren Staff making up row number 4, and row number 5 going to Austin Carey and Greg Barnett.
Row 6 goes to Daniel Sykes and Adam Duff. Looking up to row number 7, that would be Jacob Grant and Dustin Harrell. Row 8 will see Stephen Tuck and Chris Smith. Chris Worrell and Lane Hosler will start in row number 9. Row 10 goes to Abram Ghostin and Brian Toole. John Anthony and Mike McRae will start in row 11. Frederick Garcia will start at the back of this field. From Chris Worrell on down, so Worrell, Hosler, Ghostin, Toole, Anthony, McRae, and Garcia, they did not set qualifying times. They will start via iRating.
Absolutely. As we're going to take a quick look at the weather conditions for tonight. Just over a half mile here at Lucas Oil Raceway at Indianapolis Raceway Park. 77-degree ambient air temperature, 2-mile-an-hour winds, not too bad. 79-degree ambient air temperature means the track is relatively cool. But, Frank, that 57% water grain means that these V8 engines are going to be making gobs of horsepower.
Yeah, it's going to be a very high-powered evening here tonight at Lucas Oil Raceway. It's going to be fast, and these guys are going to have, we're expecting to have a ton of grip here with that track temperature being at 79 degrees.
It is at that, and it's going to mean that pit strategy is going to play a pivotal role here tonight, being as they only have 4 total sets of tires to work with, 70% fuel fill. Tires are going to be a commodity here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe Lane Hosler is going to be starting at the back of this field with a requested EOL. But yes, tires, you're going to need to preserve the tires around here, especially if we get a long run. We saw some guys like Joey Stiers, who I think has taken an EOL in that 23. Guys trying to diamond the corners. The 23 was one of those guys. You're really going to wear out the right side tires coming through the center of the corner and back down and out of the corner. So you're going to have to try to limit how much you can do that and preserve those right side tires.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody's going to wear out the right front going into the corner with speed, but the guys that are going to try to diamond this corner off are definitely going to wear up that right rear trying to lay the power down. As the field is formed behind the official iRacing pace car, it's getting ready to duck on and off at the entrance of turn 3. Another thing we didn't discuss is how difficult this pit road can be to get on and off of. The only thing that's left for me to say is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab a hot dog because it's time to get it on in the great state of Illinois. Race fans, it's showtime! Please tell me I did not just say Illinois.
You might have done.
It's Indianapolis, Indiana. Collins getting a good getaway at the front of this piece as Josh Lilly and Nate Brown make that Josh Lilly and Jason Higginbottom going door to door now. And Lilly on that bottom lane is not going to get the run that he's looking for right now. Finally can slot up.
Lilly, yeah, you got to get off of the inside line if you want to make any sort of headway around here. Where you're going to make the passes is where the 59 is. Up in that top lane, being able to sneak around somebody on the high side, that's where you're going to be able to make the passes.
And Staff being the bravest one so far, getting as far up towards that outside wall as we've seen anybody yet here tonight. As we got one around and back, that's Worrell.
Yep, that's Chris Worrell coming out of 4.
Let's go back and take a look at what happened.
Oh, now the caution's come out.
Caution is out. This is Worrell on the low side, tries to lay the power down, and the back end just washes out on him. Luckily, just barely able to keep it off the wall.
Yeah, that's too much gas too early. That's all that was for Worrell.
As we are now going back live here, and my overlay just decided to be unkind.
As it will.
Awesome.
Let's wait for it to reload. You'll be all right.
There we go. So working caution number 1 here, Parker Collins, Nate Brown, Jason Higginbottom, Josh Lilly, Evan Kinney, Darren Staff, Jeremy Moore, Greg Barnett, Adam Dupp, and Dan Sykes sitting in your top 10 as we currently sit. 4 laps now in the books. And, Frank, I can't say that I'm surprised that we've seen issues this early because, again, not a lot of guys run here. It's not a lot of leagues run here. I know you and I were both kind of giddy when we found out that these guys were bringing the tour here for this season, and this is one of the most underutilized tracks in the iRacing server.
And it was, these guys will have had plenty of practice on this racetrack. They just were here in the C-Class official series, so they would have gotten a lot of practice here very, very recently, but still, this is one of those racetracks where unless you're really practicing around the guys that you're going to be racing against, it can be a very difficult racetrack to handle.
It absolutely can be, and the last time that this series came to IRP was back in Season 10, and I don't see the last winner here.
I believe you said it was Rhett Tucker, I believe was the one.
Yes, it was. Rhett Tucker winning the last time they came here for 160 laps. So, again, another 160 lapper. And Tucker came out on top of that pile. But, this is one of those tracks that you either love it or you hate it. me as a short track fan, I love it here. I love driving here. I love watching races from here. As lights are still on the official iRacing pace car. I want to thank everybody for joining us in the live chat tonight. Thank you so much for making us a part of your evening. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you like what you're seeing. It really helps share these videos around with the YouTube algorithm. The more thumbs up a video gets, the more likely it is to be shared on someone's homepage when they log into their YouTube account. Also, drop us a comment. Let us know who you're pulling for tonight, and we'll try to highlight your favorite driver as the night wears on. As lights should be going out this time on the official pace car. There they go, and here we go. Parker Collins going to have the button again. Restart zone not in effect here tonight.
Yeah, it's not one of the big major racetracks, so it's does not have the restart zone. Still one of the little itty bitty tracks.
Well, the Cup Series or the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series made this place home during Indy Week for the Cup cars, and I personally would love to see them come back. As the pace car is off, Collins has the button as he brings them through 3 and 4 under pace. What type of restart are we about to see? Green flag is in the air, and we are underway. Collins getting a good getaway as Higginbottom wasting no time getting up to that top side as he's working the backside of Brown for second.
Yeah, it's a side-by-side there a little bit further back as well. I believe that's Kenny in the 6.
It is.
And Darren Staff in the 59. It's going to be imperative for these guys to try to get to that outside line. That's where you're going to be able to make your moves, one, and it's where you're going to be able to defend from a move coming from behind.
Case in point, Josh Lilly getting by Jason Higginbottom for third as he was able to get to the right side door of Higginbottom, and Higginbottom just had to let him go.
Yeah, Staff at the 59 also starting to work. You see he's about a half a lane higher than the 44 of Higginbottom, and also way up there, the 28 of Adam Duff in that Philadelphia Flyers Chevy Silverado running an 8th.
I love this shot down the back straightaway.
It is nice, and also with the low wall as well. That's also quite a view.
It absolutely is at that as they come down the front chute one more time. Collins still in command of this one, about a half a second to the good over Brown as Lilly and Higginbottom are still going after each other. Now Higginbottom starting to fall back into the clutches of Staff. Meanwhile, Dan Sykes is all over Jacob Grant. That was a battle for the last spot in the top 10.
You talked about how impressive that 18 of Joey Stiers was Parker Collins, was last week. Led 48 of 70 laps at Pocono Raceway, just picking up right where he left off, as there goes that 6 of Evan Kenny trying to keep the defense on Jeremy Moore.
Moore tried to dive it to the inside. The only way you're going to make that inside line work is to throw the proverbial slider, as we would call it on the dirt side of things, and get up and throw the block in mid-corner. So you really have to bomb it in on that inside and get that truck rotated. And I don't think anybody really worked on a setup that's going to be indicative to that tonight.
Evan Kenny's hit something. You see the front end of that Toyota is all beat up. The right side of that truck as well. So he's either run into the back of the 59 of Staff, or maybe Higginbottom in the 44 on a restart, but that's pretty obvious damage there on the front end of that 6.
He's caught the wall, because if you take a look, when that comes around again, you're going to see the right side is completely cheese grated. So he has gotten into the wall at some point, probably on that restart, as he was way up near the wall trying to make some moves there.
Might have been.
Lilly and Higginbottom continue their thrash against each other. Josh Lilly sorry, go ahead.
No, go. You're good.
I was going to say Josh Lilly in a Toyota sandwich right now, as he's got his Brownie Racing teammate in front of him in Nate Brown, but that powerhouse number 44 of Jason Higginbottom is giving him all he can handle right now.
Heartbreaker for Higginbottom last week, running out of gas on the final lap. Went from a top 5 finish down to 13th. First car not on the lead lap, having not completed the final lap.
An absolute heartbreaker as he was up in the front for the vast majority of that race, either first or second. Same thing for Parker Collins, just used up his equipment way too soon and kind of gave that one away. As we're continuing to watch this battle for second, is throw a blanket over those three trucks. That's Nate Brown, Josh Lilly, and Jason Higginbottom, as they are just flat getting it right now.
Solid little battle for these three for sure. And again, this is part of the reason why restarts are going to be so important here, is because it is rather difficult to pass around here. Knowing where you need to go in order to make a pass, it makes it very, very easy to block, especially knowing that if you try to go the other way around, it's not going to work for the other guy.
Well, here we go.
Here comes Higginbottom.
Higginbottom's going to try the low lane against Lilly. Has to back off as Lilly pinched him down coming off the corner. A little bit of youth and trickery taking place there. I'm going to take a look back towards the field, or back in the field, I should say. That's Chris Worrell working the inside of Dustin Harrell. Harrell kind of letting Worrell go, and that's a very, very strange line that he was taking through turn 3. And you can see that Worrell's doing one of those ones where he's trying to square off the corner exit. That is really going to punish that right rear tire as this race wears on.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about before. What we saw the 23 doing in qualifying is diamonding the corner. You enter low, let the truck drift out wide in the center, and then straight line it off. If you get it right, it makes for a very, very effective strategy, but it also can wear your equipment out quite a bit.
It absolutely can, as now we've got still battling for third with Higginbottom trailing Lilly, and then right behind them is a 3-car tango with Darren Staff, Evan Kinney, and Jeremy Moore, all right there within about a truck length of each other. Greg Barnett and Adam Duff not that far behind either, as they are not that far behind from each other, as Barnett wants to get 8th away from Duff, but Duff is on that preferred line on the top shelf.
Yeah, that 38 of Barnett really trying to work that inside line, gets a great dive into turn number 3. Question is, will he be able to do anything on exit? And that's part of the problem, running the bottom line around this racetrack, is it just kills your corner exit. You need to really take it as if you're a road course racer and throw it into these corners.
Well, he just did it that juncture as Barnett now pulls to the door of Duff. Duff looks like he might be just toying with the 38 of Barnett, knowing that he's just burning up his own tires, trying to run to the inside of Duff, but Barnett gets scored with the spot that time by. Now he's able to throw the block coming off the corner, and that brought Jacob Grant right to the both of them.
It's, you're a dirt racing guy. That would be the proverbial slider line.
Yes,
is what that 38 just pulled off on the 28. Dive it in deep, slide up into that outside lane, and then really, then try to take the spot. As there goes the 6 of Kenny around Staff and the 59. Contact. Around goes the 6. Kept it straight though. Is the caution going to come out? No, it's not.
It will now.
Oh,
38 of Barnett just went for a ride.
No, I think he missed it.
Wow.
Great job.
And
Great job by the 6. What a save.
Absolutely. Now he's got damage on both sides of that truck, so matching fenders.
Yeah, just about.
As the battle for third still rages on, as Higginbottom is trying to figure out a way to get by Josh Lilly without putting the chrome horn to him. A lot of respect being shown here in the early goings for the most part, as Lilly able to use that top line and may have opened the door through 3 and 4. Doesn't want to flirt with that wall, wants to try to get the bonus point, or 2 bonus points for having a clean race here tonight, and neither one of them want to risk that right now. Meanwhile, back just outside the top 10, that is Worrell being scored as the 97, driving the 6, though, working on the 66 of Dan Sykes. Worrell finally gets the move accomplished, +6 so far.
Yep. Worrell really moving. Tony, if you could check your messages real quick. Worrell really, we knew he was going to have a good car once he figured out how to get around this place, and it certainly has proven to be that.
He absolutely has, as just grazes the wall down the backstretch, and that is concrete. That is not safer barrier down the straightaways here, as now working outside of Mike McCrate. McCrate being the only truck one lap down so far, as Fred Garcia did not start. As we're going to check in with Joey Stiers after taking that EOL penalty, and we're under caution.
Yes, we are.
Oh, Stephen Tuck looks like something happened with him. Let's go back and take a look. As there you see Tuck in the 10, up on the top shelf, goes down, gets into the 14, and oi! Headlong into the pit wall.
Just came down across the front end of the 14. He had no clue he was there. Thought he cleared him off the corner.
Well, this is what the eye in the sky picked up as... Yep, just he came down. He did come down, but it looked like the 14 was also trying to pinch him.
Yeah, both came up into each other, I guess.
Basic physics, ladies and gentlemen. As we are now back live under caution, working lap 34 of 160, and it looks like wholesale pit stops as Parker Collins leads the charge down pit road. Stephen Tuck has to wait a lap as pits are closed to lap trucks. But Chris Worrell stays out.
Only one. Everybody else comes in except for that 6 of Worrell.
Interesting. And
battle on pit road as some guys on the move. Parker Collins wins the race off of pit road. Josh Lilly just does beat Nathan Brown.
And that's not gonna make his team commander too happy. It's now he's going to be restarting in that outside lane, which is a good thing and a bad thing. The only bad thing is Parker Collins right now is slated to restart in second, so that outside lane is not going to be able to get the getaway that the inside lane is going to, with Worrell having the button.
Question is going to be, though, is Worrell going to light the tires up? We've seen it here recently. Guys on older tires on restarts.
We have it that.
Lighten the rears up, causing the line to bog down. Worrell's a very good driver. We know that he should have it under control, but still, no one's above the occasional mistake.
A little bit of pit strategy being played by the 23 of Joey Stiers. I just looked. Of the drivers that came down in the top 10, he's the only one that took fuel only.
Oh, there you go.
Next driver that took only fuel is back there in 14th with a 00 of John Anthony. Everybody else, 4 in fuel and possibly some damage repair.
Chris Worrell asking the, being new to the series again.
If there's lane choice?
Yes. Yep. Asking the question that he needed to ask. And the unfortunate answer was, yeah, no.
Well, the good news is he's going to have the button, and he can fire anytime after the pace car peels off, so that's the good news. The bad news is Parker Collins has been quick all night, Josh Lilly's been quick all night, Nathan Brown's been quick all night, Jason Higginbottom has been quick all night, and they're all on fresh tires. Good luck, Chris.
Yeah, that is a little bit of a sticky situation.
Place your bets, folks.
The good news for him is that he's not the only one in this scenario. As you mentioned, Joey Stiers is in this scenario. So is John Anthony in the 00. Those two guys taking no tires as well. So he's not the only one.
Worrell keeps them under pace, coming through 3 and 4. pulls along to the door of Parker Collins. They enter the stripe zone. Worrell pulls the trigger, and we are back underway, but Collins, getting a good getaway, dives it to the inside going into one.
Yeah, this is going to be one where the inside might actually work. He's all the way on the apron there with those fresh tires against Chris Worrell. Worrell, though, able to keep the momentum up, able to keep the speed up. But how long will that line prevail over fresh tires? Collins has the lead, has the nose out, but hasn't cleared, though. Oh, the 14 almost went around at the back.
Oy. Chris Smith definitely a little bit slow right now. Mike McRae still on pit road, or actually coming down again. Apparently tires did not get changed, as now Collins gets the getaway, and Lilly gets by Worrell as well. Worrell into the wall in 1 and 2, 3 wide coming off of 2.
Yeah, I think Worrell right now might just be trying to stay out of the way. There's a big side-by-side battle right in front of him between the 69 of Nathan Brown, the 44 of Jason Higginbottom. Mike McRae down and away on pit road.
The 6 of Kinney was all sorts of sideways coming off of 4 that time, as they are doing what they can to try to get around Worrell cleanly. And 45, a chance just lost, as Grant could have used Worrell as a pick against Duff and chose to let him in.
And this is, the outside line is only going to help you so much when you have these older tires. 34 lap old tires compared to everybody else. Yeah, the outside line certainly works, but it doesn't work that well.
Right. And Parker Collins starting to walk away with it at the front of this piece. Josh Lilly, though, keeping him in check. Not too close, but letting Collins know for sure that if he were to slip up, Lilly's there to bite.
It's going to have to be a racetrack like this. It's going to have to be quite a slip up, though. As boy, I think Lilly might have caught the wall coming out of 4. The 18 got really close as well.
You could see just a little bit of a wow in that rear bedside on the right side of that truck, as now Higginbottom throwing his hat into the ring. Lilly and Higginbottom have not gotten away from each other all race long. Not sure exactly what's going on with Nate Brown. Apparently he made some adjustments under that caution, and it didn't work.
It's that, or he might just be biding his time. You know, we still have over 100 and some odd laps to go here. There's about 110 laps to go. 3 more sets of tires. Might just be trying to save the tires a little bit.
It could be at that, as now Dan Sykes gets 9th place away from Worrell, as now Worrell has to deal with the 23 of Joey Stiers, who looks like Stiers might be starting to blink here as there's contact behind him, carrying Moore banging doors going through 2.
Yep, the 24 of Moore, Austin Carey in the 22. 55, the 59 of Darren Staff behind him as well. Front end damage on that Toyota.
He definitely has gotten into the wall at some point.
Well, no, that would have been the incident with the 6 of Kenny.
That's what it was. Yes,
side by side with Adam Duff right now for the 6th spot. Oh.
Jacob Grant right there as well. As now Grant gets to the outside of Kenny. Kenny, though, keeps his foot in it and is able to pull a little bit of a gap. So a Chevy leading a Toyota, leading a Ford right now as your battle for 6th, hot and heavy.
Certainly is, and that 66 of Sykes leading that next pack behind them as the 45 looks to the inside of the 6, and the move that you would have thought would have been elementary turns out to be just that.
Absolutely is. Parker Collins starting to pull a little bit of gap at the front of this piece. Josh Lilly, though, keeping him honest. Next closest battle is going to be back here with Austin Carey and company. And right in front of him, that's Jeremy Moore working the inside of Worrell. Toyota on Toyota action down the back straightaway here at IRP.
Morel's kind of fallen into that part of the field as now Moore gets around him, where the pace is kind of equaled out from where it was at the front. Front on fast tires is certainly going to be a little bit quicker than the middle of the field here, and he's kind of fallen back to where the pace of that truck would suggest he would be. Joey Stiers also didn't take tires in the 23. He's right back here with him.
Absolutely, as that is Staff working the inside on Stiers and wrestles the spot away from him. Fresh tires against old tires. Give me a fresh set of shoes any day.
99 to Brian Toole now looking to the inside of Stiers.
And you can see Toole was trying to get that truck to rotate using the apron to try to get that truck to turn, because down on the low side, there's not a lot of rubber laid down, and it's generally going to be a push condition where the front end just does not want to turn. Now he's settling back into things as Abram Gaston filling his rearview mirror right now. And Higginbottom going after Lilly again for second.
And this is second. You can see right where the left side tires were for the 18 on the inside here as he's going to go into 3 and 4. That second black seam from the bottom, that's also one of those places where you're flat and you've got a little bit of banking, so you can use that seam. If you could ride that seam kind of the way the 44 is, if he just gets a little bit lower, that's also where the two bankings meet, and you can also loosen the car up that way.
You absolutely can. As from the experience I've had of driving at this place, ideally you don't want your right side tires any lower than that hash mark where you saw Higginbottom. Is the 18 at Collins just got into the wall going into 1.
Yeah, it's easy to do, not just on corner exit, but on corner entry as well. You're trying so hard to stay up where there's as much banking as possible, stay up as close to the wall as you possibly can, and doing that, you have to enter up there, and if you take it a little bit too hard on entry, you're going to run yourself into the fence.
Absolutely. As here you can see the freight train coming. Collins in command of this one by about 5 car lengths, or truck lengths, over Jason Higginbottom right now. And Josh Lilly does get back by Higginbottom.
69 starting to catch up as well. So is the 38 of Greg Barnett running in the 5th spot. Daniel Sykes and Jeremy Moore battling for 9th.
The two camouflage trucks just slugging it out right now.
I'm surprised you could see them.
Hey, John Cena's behind the wheel of both of them, bud.
Can't see him either.
Nate Brown has gotten by his teammate Josh Lilly, as Lilly, it looks like he had to chase it coming down off of 4.
Yeah, Lilly might have had a big moment right there, which pushed him away.
Let's go back and take a look at what happened. This was that pass, and no, Lilly just opened the door for Brown.
Whatever happened would have been while Higginbottom was passing the 48.
Yeah, it would have. So we are back live as Nate Brown now sets his sights on trying to reel Higginbottom in. No change at the front, as you can see how far of a gap Parker Collins has. There's Collins, there's Higginbottom, and there's Brown. So not heavy action there, as we're going to go check back with Austin Carey as he's continuing his climb back through the field.
Carey running in 11th, looking to get into that top 10 position by passing the 66 of Sykes. Putting a little bit of distance between himself and the 12 and the 6, of Chris Worrell. I'm surprised that 23 of Stiers has really fallen off down to 16th.
He has at that, and I'm thinking that both those guys, Worrell and Stiers, are begging for a caution right about now, as we are working lap 63 of 160 here at Lucas Oil Raceway Park, formerly O'Reilly Raceway Park, and for the longest time it was known as Indianapolis Raceway Park, just outside of Indianapolis proper in Brownsville, and home of the biggest drag race every year, the U.S. Nationals, held every Labor Day, just outside of the front stretch grandstand. You can, in some of the camera views we get, you were able to see where that drag strip is, but careers have been made and lost at that quarter mile that you could see in the distance coming off of 4.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the, again, as you said, the premier event for the NHRA every single year.
And iRacing, if you're listening, you've inadvertently scanned at least 5 drag strips that we know of. Can we please have drag racing? I mean, it's not like you don't already have one lap straight line-ish competition. You gave us the point to point, because you gave us the hill climb at Mount Washington. Can we please have drag racing? Is that too much to ask?
Like I told you pre-race, Dale Jr. wanted North Wilkesboro. It was in the sim within a month, so ask Jr. to start plugging away at it. I'm sure you'll have it very soon.
Oh, I think the other name we should probably reach out to is Tony Stewart, as his wife, one of the most recent winners in the top fuel ranks of the NHRA.
Congratulations.
Absolutely. Leah Pruitt, for those of you who are not aware, she and Tony wed in the off-season, and he started his own Top Fuel dragster and funny car team to help feed his wife's need for speed. And Tony's actually made some passes in Leah's car.
I would hope so. You're the owner. You get to drive the thing every now and again as the 22 looks at the inside of the 66. Oh, that's big wiggle out of both the 22. As Dustin Harrell, I think, has gone off circuit.
He has at that, as we're going to go take a look at what did happen with Harrell.
Dustin Harrell in the 16.
Oh!
Pinched the 14 into the wall.
That
Kept
is
it straight,
heavy left side damage, though.
Yep, kept it straight. There's the leader. There's the engine.
And yeah, there goes the engine as he's smoking heavily. That engine is not long for this world as he now brings it down pit side. Meanwhile, Evan Kinney and Adam Duff just going after each other.
Kinney trying to peel that truck back away from the 28 coming off of turn 4.
Throws the slider going into 1.
Oh, Collins side by side with Higginbottom up at the front.
Higginbottom got to run down the back straightaway, as now he's just going to send it going into 1. Collins up on that top shelf is going to be able to defend, as he's going to be able to lay the power down a lot more effectively on that top shelf.
Looks like a good run off, though, for the 44, and you're really going to need to throw it in as that pressure from the 44 trying to throw it in forced the 18 into the corner too hard and into the wall in the middle of 3 and 4.
Now, the good news is with straight axle vehicles like these trucks are, you don't have the lightweight A-arms that you'd see on a next-gen Cup car. So you can lean on that wall a little bit. I mean, you don't want to do it too much, but you can definitely lean on it. As now we've got a 5-car tango up at the front of this piece, running stem to stern, 4 3/4 seconds to the good over 6th place Evan Kinney. As Parker Collins, Jason Higginbottom, Nate Brown, Josh Lilly, and Greg Barnett up in the mix.
Really, really close racing here. And fortunately, this is one of those racetracks where as long as the splitter's okay, you're okay. You don't need the side panels on this car. Just keep the splitter in line and you'll be all right.
Got a couple people checking in the live chat right now. Tiny Dog Racing pulling for Darren Staff and the 18 of Parker Collins, both for Tiny Dog Racing. Quantum of Conscience just saying that Barnett is just toying with these guys.
Yeah, that was a little bit earlier on. Higginbottom really starting to push the issue. As they're coming up on the 14. Higginbottom actually ahead, coming out at 2. Get a big dive into the corner. Slide
Has
up
the clear.
In front. Yep, Higginbottom to the race lead. Here comes Brown to the inside in the 69.
Brown
big block for the 18.
Oy, yeah, he saw Brown coming, goes down to the low side. as now he's trying to figure out what he's got to do to get back by Higginbottom.
He's trying to figure out a way to diamond the corner. You see that big run that he got off of turn 2. Unfortunately, he got the run and ran right into the line of the 44.
And the 44 is doing the right thing right now. Higginbottom using that lap truck as a pick, gives himself a little bit of breathing room over Collins and company.
Yeah, Collins really working. As now this is also allowing the 38 of Barnett to get around the 48 of Josh Lilly. So move the 38 up to 4th.
Barnett, one of your biggest movers so far, +6, currently sitting in 4th. And our next biggest movers, both tied at 8. Abram Gaston and Brian Toole sitting in 11th and 12th, respectively. As this battle up in front is still just Katie barred the door.
That 18 now starting to fall back a little bit here. Jacob Grant in the 45 coming down pit road from 9th. So we see this battle for 2nd here. Brown really trying to put the pressure on Collins. We saw earlier how Collins handled the pressure with the 44 of Higginbottom, so Brown trying to do the same.
Well, the other thing to keep in mind, too, with Collins leading as much as he has here tonight, he doesn't have anybody to gauge his entries and exits off of for the most part.
Very true.
And it's so easy to just use up your tires way too quickly, as it appears to be what's going on with Collins right now, as his lap times are falling dramatically.
Very, very true.
Chris Worrell finally bringing it pit side after 82 laps. So looks like Worrell might be on a one-stop strategy here tonight.
Very well could be, as Worrell. We've gotten to halfway, and Tony, I think this might be a good time to step away and try to take a breath and try to get ready for the second half here.
Absolutely. We will be back right after this.
Drivers that took time, all of them within 3.5 tenths of each other tonight, is going to be a very closely competitive race.
As the field works its way out of the 3-4 complex, the only thing that's left to say is wipe the visor, adjust the 5-point safety harness, because race fans, it's showtime!
Amazing looking cars already. Green flag will fly.
Oh, they're wrecking! Well, one thing that you're going to see at this track that we haven't seen the last few weeks is a surface that's multi-group. I think this is the first multi-group surface we're going to have.
After an amazing race at Daytona, we now come to the left coast and Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California for the second round of the Way She Goes Racing League Cup Series.
Back here at Lucas Oil Raceway, Parker Collins back in the lead in that number 18. As Jason Higginbottom came into pit not long after we went to break. Josh Lilly in the 48 also coming down to pit during the break. So pit strategy, Tony, really starting to play out here in the middle stages of this race.
It is at that, as you know, we were talking about Chris Worrell trying to make this a one-stop race. not working too effectively right now as he's mired back in 16th, a lap down. But fresh tires mean everything as Higginbottom's back in 11th, so not that far behind. And Higginbottom just set the fastest lap of the event so far, 22.39.
He is absolutely flying right now on those fresh tires. He has some clean air, a 22.337, his best lap sorry, that was a practice, my bad. Looking back.
22.339.
Yep, 390 for Higginbottom there. Best lap of the race thus far.
As Collins, Brown, and Barnett still running stem to stern.
Boy, that's an interesting defensive tactic there to go to the grass. See Higginbottom on fresh tires right there, about to get one of his laps back the hard way. We're 3 wide here through turn 1 and 2, and Higginbottom's going to come away with it. Here comes Collins in.
Nate Brown now has to deal with Higginbottom. Higginbottom now back on the lead lap.
I think it was the other way around. I think Higginbottom had to deal with Brown, not the other way around.
You are correct, sir.
Josh Lilly coming up as well, trying to get one of his laps back.
Lilly just bombs it down onto the apron to try to get that truck to rotate. Is able to throw the slider on the boss.
That was your slider line right there to perfection.
Absolutely. Enter low and just hope that the guy behind you jams on the brakes so he doesn't hit you.
Yeah, we talked about pit entry being so difficult around here. It's because it is narrow and you've got the grass, so if you run off, you're sliding away. iRacing also very, very stingy about pit exit and crossing the line on pit exit. This pit exit here is a one-lane, narrow little strip. So this place is sometimes just as hard to get off a pit road as it is to get on.
I dare say even more difficult to get off cleanly because it's so easy to there's not really a yellow line through 1 and 2. The yellow line only appears at the exit of 2, but it's so easy to just get it wrong.
A lot of these bigger short tracks, like these half-mile short tracks, as here comes Nathan Brown into pit road as Greg Barnett takes over the race lead. Now, it is really difficult on some of these shorter tracks to get off of pit road with how narrow the apron is. The only real big track that I can think of that has a more difficult pit road exit is coming through turn 2 at New Hampshire when that wall sticks out over the ramp or over the tunnel.
You are correct.
That is a very, very difficult bit on the bigger racetrack to get through.
As we are on board with Nate Brown for his pit stop, we're going to show you exactly how treacherous the pit exit is here. As Brown down and away after 4 in fuel. And
second gear, you got to make a tight turn to get through here, and then it's just you have to stay. Or now we had to let off there. You have to stay under that yellow line, otherwise you're coming back in for an unsafe pit release.
It absolutely is that crucial. As Greg Barnett now shows the way, he's got a 3.5 second gap back to second place. Evan Kinney, as your top 4 anyways, have not come down for what should be their money stop. Jason Higginbottom, technically your effective race lead right now, as there you see him, as he has almost the length of the back straightaway to the good over Josh Lilly, 2.5 back. So we're going to get a good shot here. There's Higginbottom, there's Lilly in the background, as the 24 was all sorts of sideways coming off of 4.
Say about half the straightaway. Last time these guys were here back in season 10, Lilly second place, Jason Higginbottom third. Lane Hosler actually in the 61 came home in 5th. Evan Kinney came home 7th. Nathan Brown 11th. Greg Barnett, who currently leads this race, finishing 12th, 2 laps down. So some of these guys have a little bit of redemption is what they're looking for coming back to this racetrack.
Well, unfortunately, if you're Lane Hosler, you're not going to get it, as he's already put it on the hauler. after 33 laps, and definitely not the night that the 61 team was hoping for, as we do have a battle starting to heat up. Go ahead.
Brian Toole in the 99 in pit road from 4th.
As we are watching
in the 99.
We're watching this battle for now 7th, as that is Worrell giving Jacob Grant all he can handle, as the two trucks behind them, one is Nathan Brown, who is on fresh shoes. Now Worrell came down back on lap 79. Brown was down on 96, so definitely a tire advantage for the Brownie Racing Toyota Tundra that is right behind the 6 of Worrell.
That 66 is not for position of Sykes. Sykes running in 13th position right now as Greg Barnett comes into pit from the race lead. That'll hand the race lead over to Evan Kinney in the 6, who's just ahead of these guys. Top 6 only on the lead lap right now, but again, that will change once the 6 brings it down pit road. Higginbottom is going to have quite a nice lead. He's got 2 seconds over Josh Lilly and about another 7 seconds over Parker Collins.
Greg Barnett bringing the 38 down pit side, or coming out of pits, I should say, as he is just tumbling down the order right now. It's going to slot into, looks like 9th. And
that out behind that battle that we were watching there. This one right here.
And there you see your race leader, Kinney, with Worrell in front of him. I know your eyes aren't deceiving you. Worrell, unfortunately, went to his backup truck instead of the 97. Unfortunately, that one was lettered 6 for a different league.
Still looks good, though.
Oh, absolutely. And if you've never tried what's on Worrell's truck, that was a sketchy moment coming through 4.
Bit of a slip and slide?
A little bit.
You haven't tried?
Yeah. As Jacob Grant now gets his lap back off Kinney. The 66 of Sykes looking to get one of his laps back as well.
Sykes 2 down at the moment. Greg Barnett will also get a lap back to get himself back on the lead lap here the hard way.
Barnett on the freshest tires on track right now. Well, Kinney made it easy for him.
Certainly did. Kinney is definitely going to try to make this on one more stop. There's no other reason why he would have run this long unless he was trying to make it on one more stop.
And you are absolutely correct, sir. Is 66 laps currently on that set of tires under the 6, as you know, it's basically beat on Evan Day right now, as everybody else on fresh shoes.
Oh,
that
contact up in front.
Healthy.
That was the 38. Yeah, that was the 38 of Barnett, and Grant in the 45 that made contact down the front straightaway.
And you see the heavy donut on the door of Jacob Grant's 45.
It's a 23 going really slowly. Stiers, he's got it. I think he might have an issue. Oh, he hit that wall.
Oh, yeah.
He hit the wall in the wrong spot.
Completely pancaked the right side of that truck. And you can see just how askew that rear axle is now. He may have bent the track bar.
Might have done, as he's got a really big issue. He is well off the pace now and really losing time.
And the bad news is if he does come back to pit again, they're going to hold him for mandatory repairs. His race is just about done if he does. Now he comes down in front of the 22.
It's just about done if he doesn't either. As there you see in the background that blue and white machine of the 44 of Higginbottom, only about a second and a half behind the 6 of Kinney.
Kinney's got to get by Stiers quickly. And just throws it in. He's able to lay the power down a little more effectively with a rear axle that is trued.
Really damaged and hobbling number 23 of Joey Stiers. He might have hit the wall there again in the middle of 1 and 2, as now here comes Higginbottom getting around Stiers. There's no one between the 6 and the 44.
And Kenny comes in.
Instead of battling, decides to duck on in.
Looks like connection issues also for the 23, not helping the situation.
Well, he's had them all night. Long night for that 23 of Stiers.
It is at that, is John Anthony in the 00 right behind your race leader, trying to get one of his laps back the hard way. Josh Lilly promoted into second. Parker Collins. There's Lilly. And there is Collins all the way on the other side of the front straightaway.
It's a further 5 seconds between the 48 and the 18 right now. Nathan Brown, fortunately for the 18, he's got no one battling him, as there is Nathan Brown currently running in 4th. He's 3.5 seconds adrift of the 18. Greg Barnett, 4.25 off of him in 5th.
Absolutely, but if you take a look at the last lap times for your top 5, Higginbottom with a 23.62, Lilly with a 23.36, Collins with a 23.38, and Nate Brown was the Nate Brown 23.16, and Greg Barnett was the fastest of the lot with a sub 23, 22.89.
Higginbottom last came into pit lap 84, Lilly 85, Collins 92, Brown 96, Barnett 104. That's how they're running right now. Oldest tires to newest, and the guy at the back is quickest.
Big shocker, as there is the man with the freshest tires now on track, having come down on 115, as did Joey Stiers. But Kenny, let's see what type of lap he's going to lay down. 22.54. Good grief.
And for Kenny, he's got a very interesting little game that he has to play now. If he's assuming that everyone else has to come into the pits, he's got to drive fast enough to be able to make up time so he can get back in the lead when those guys do pit, but also has to drive slow enough. As here comes, Higginbottom coming in. He also has to drive slow enough to be able to make the truck last all the way to the end of this race.
He does at that, but the only advantage that both Kenny and Worrell have right now is they have another free set laying on the pit wall, so they could come in for just a splash of fuel to get them to the end. And
Daniel Sykes is around.
Oh, what did happen?
In the 66, they're claiming there should be a caution. No caution has fallen the speedway yet.
Oh, let's go back and take a look at what did happen. Oy, drag the wall. 3 wide, never a good idea. Oh my.
Hit right at the end of that access wall. But well enough off the racetrack. Well enough off the racetrack that no caution was called.
Here we see Josh Lilly working on the 45 of Jacob Grant. So now only the top 7 are on the lead lap. As Lilly still with a little bit of pace, 24.14, working through the traffic. As the only one that was sub 23 second that last time by was his dad, Joey Stiers. And here you see Stiers coming down the front straightaway there. Still a lot of damage on the right side, but that truck seems to have picked to back up. Stiers may have cut a tire down.
Might have done. So I think the 45 of Jacob Grant comes into pit road. He does. Parker Collins quite a bit quicker than Josh Lilly. That last time around by about a half a second.
This is not what Lilly wants to see in front of him.
No, absolutely not. And it's also not necessary. It's what Collins wants to see in front of the 48 right now, but he's also going to have to get through it as well, not just the 48.
As the 99 kind of holding up the 22 and the 18, or 23 and the 18. Steyer's doing what he can to help his boy out as he is now working the inside of Collins. Picks Collins off, and now he can run blocker for his son.
He's also got a lot of speed in that truck, having just come down pit road. There's the 99 of Brian Toole kind of in the way. There goes the 23 on Steyer's on the inside of Lilly. Higginbottom also right there with 3 wide, 2 rows deep. The leader of Lilly slides, somehow keeps it straight. The 14 of Chris Smith, however, could not.
Well, let's take a look at that one again as we're going to see what the eye in the sky picked up. There you see Steyer's goes up, Lilly goes up, doesn't realize the 14's still there. Around goes the 14.
I think that was net code between the 23 and the 48. Watch, you're going to see the right rear clip the left front right there.
Yep.
Forces the 48 up the hill, and around they went.
You are absolutely correct, as wholesale pit stop so far, as we are now going back live. So Lilly in, Collins in, Barnett, Brown, Worrell, Kinney all in.
And unfortunately for Higginbottom, he had just missed getting his lap back before that caution. He will get the free pass, but he'll have to start at the very, very tail end of the line instead of starting at the back end of the lead lap cars.
Well, he has gotten his lap back successfully. And, I mean, if you're Jason Higginbottom right now, I'm waiting till we're about to go 1 to go, and I'm coming down pit road right then and there to get the money stop out, done and dusted out of the way.
I don't think he has another set of tires because he's come in twice under green. That, and he was also one of the guys that came into pit during the caution, the first caution on 34. So he might be out of tires right now.
Well, the good news is when the caution came out, he didn't have much usage on those tires yet.
It's only a 7-lap advantage between everybody else and Higginbottom. So it's nothing crazy, but it's still a 7-lap disadvantage.
It is at that, as Joey Steyer's stays out to get the wave around from his son.
It's like the 6 of Kenny, the 99 of Toole, the 63 of Abram Ghostin there in that Fanatec, that blue Fanatec Chevrolet, 45 of Jacob Grant, and as you mentioned, the 23 of Steyer's are all going to get the wave around here.
They absolutely are, and as looks like everybody that had a set just took a set.
Chris Worrell has one. 23 has another.
I don't think Steyer's does.
No, because he came in.
Oh, that's right. He
pit stop,
he
but
picked
he
for
only
fuel.
got fuel.
You're right. Yeah, so he would have another set. Should another caution come out, being back on the lead lap, he could still be a contender in this one.
Yeah,
These
guys are needing a caution quickly here.
One of the very few tracks Steyer's does not have a win at in this series.
And with 20 wins and counting for that 23, certainly one that he's going to be looking for.
Lilly trying to get the tires cleaned off as Collins going to start to his door, coming through turns 3 and 4. Pace car is already in. Lilly has the button as they come into the hash marks on the outside wall. Lilly pulls the trigger, and we are back underway as Collins now just dives to the inside. Not able to make it stick that time as Lilly was already there defending on the upper shelf.
It's a very broken up and fanned out restart that we just got there. Almost as if not everyone was up to the line as the caution comes out. Looks like that's the 16 of Harrell, the 24 of Moore.
This is what we just just brought out the caution. You see Harrell gets nerfed by the... Oy! Oh!
That 24 or more had nowhere to go.
Absolutely did not. So we're going to take a look. This is what the eye in the sky picked up. You see Higginbottom was trying to shoot the gap and guessed wrong.
Yeah, he did not have nearly enough room. The 22 catches some as well. The 6 and the 99 also.
Oy.
Secondary incident between those two, and that was the caution that a guy like Higginbottom or that Chris Worrell needed.
Evan Kinney catches a piece of that one as well. Let's see what happened with Kinney here, as it's already happened.
Yeah, it's the secondary incident here. The 99 had the gap. He was going through it, but the 6 was trying to avoid that 16 that came down across the grass.
And had some heavy tail wag trying to do it. Well then.
What do you say we take our final break?
That sounds like a grand idea. As we're working caution number 3, we're going to go side by side. We'll be right back.
When we get an incident like that, show the cars a little bit first. Show the cars involved and then go to the replay, instead of just going straight to the replay, so at least you can visually see who was in it. It's, that's just so, like, I could call out more, and if someone doesn't know who the hell it is, they don't know who to look for in the replay, you know? No, I understand that, but it's the visual of it to be able to, oh, okay, you just pick him out. Drivers that took time. Or like if you're focused on more there, and the 6 of Kenny was a secondary, you could kind of pick him out in the background.
As the field works its way out of the 3-4 complex, the only thing it's left to say is wipe the visor, adjust the 5-point safety harness, because race fans, it's showtime!
No. I am the Spectrum. No, I'm just kidding.
Amazing looking cars already. Green flag will fly.
I am the Spectrum.
Oh, they're wrecking! Well, one thing that you're going to see at this track that we haven't seen the last few weeks is a surface that's multi-group. I think this is the first multi-group surface we're going to have.
Tony, Asperger's is not a
After an
food.
amazing race at Daytona, we now come to the West Coast and Auto Club
Swing and a miss.
You
remember that Family Guy episode? About to get back going here, a restart in the final 25 laps here at Lucas Oil Raceway. Josh Lilly set to take them down with Collins right on his door as we head for the restart. Pace car is off, waiting to straighten out here for this restart. Not waiting to straighten out as Lilly really punched it early, and we're back underway.
As Lilly spun the tires just a little bit, Collins up into the wall. Here comes Barnett and Worrell.
Parker Collins really sent it down into turn 1. Barnett, a very good run for him. Up to third, Joey Stiers. Boy, that 23 has had his issues fixed, whatever it was.
I dare say when he hit the wall, that fender, the right front fender, got caved in, and he cut a tire down. As you can see the damage on that fender right now, as it looks like there's a sharp edge there.
Battling with the 63 of Abram Ghostin right now.
Trying to get all he can out of those tires. 19 to go. Yeah, there's not much time to go. As back up towards the front, everybody's gotten single filed out for the most part. Lilly running for his life right now as Collins breathing down his neck. Collins looking to get his first win here in the CleanRacing.net Truck Series, as Barnett now starts to work his tailgate as he's having to deal with Worrell. Worrell goes to the top shelf. This could be an advantage for the 6 of Worrell.
Worrell on debut here in the series. Barnett looking for his first win as well. A lot of hungry guys right up here in the top 5.
Very much so. Hell, top 6 is
Nathan Brown looking for his 5th. Higginbottom his 3rd win in the series. Abram Ghostin looking to win on debut as well.
He's got a good shot at it right now. If anything pops off in front of him, he's sitting right there just far enough back off of Higginbottom to collect, as Higginbottom looks like he got into the front stretch wall there. As now Worrell really applying the pressure to Collins, as Collins did not get the best corner entry going into 1. Worrell now closes in on his tailgate.
Yeah, Parker Collins, a lot of damage. He's found that wall a couple of times in this race. Around goes to 44. Inside wall, missed it. The 22 does not, however, right behind him.
We stay green, though.
Straight. Yep, they both stay straight. We both stay green.
Evan Kinney now battling with that very wounded 22 of Austin Carey. Meanwhile, back up in the front of this piece, Josh Lilly has carved out almost a full second to the good over that battle for 2nd and 3rd. As throw a blanket over Collins, Worrell, Barnett, and Brown.
Looking to me like the 18's kind of holding the line up a little bit. That's 97 of Worrell looking very quick. Just can't seem to find a way around. The 38 of Barnett also looking really quick behind Worrell.
I dare say we're going to see the chrome horn come into effect after too much longer here, as we're working 13 to go right now. And Lilly's seeing this battle and going on behind him as here comes Barnett to the inside of Worrell for 3rd.
Yeah, Worrell caught the wall coming out of turn 2 and a big wiggle. Barnett trying to pick up the pieces, unfortunately did not have the line. I mean, if you're gonna, if you really think you're that much quicker than the guy in front of you, you may as well bump him now to give yourself as much time to try to get up to Josh Lilly. He's 1.4 seconds ahead of the group now.
And he continues to stretch that lead as everybody right now playing defense from 2nd on back.
38 just trying to do what he can. Now looks like he's trying to play more defense, trying to keep that 69 of Brown behind him.
Well,
meanwhile,
he learned his lesson
he
learned his lesson from New Hampshire as Brown threw him a dummy there in the closing laps and got the race win from him.
I mean, as we said it earlier in the race, with a move around here, you know where the move is going to be, so you can have the inside line all day long. It doesn't bother me. I know I have the momentum on the outside. I'm a little bit quicker, so you can take it.
And the only one that's really running the proper line around here for the most part, other than your leader Josh Lilly, who's now 2nd and 1/4 to the good, or 2nd and 3/4 to the good, is that 38 of Barnett, and there he proves me wrong going through 3 and 4, but that's where Worrell needs to be to make something happen on the 18.
He's got to get to him. If he's going to make a pass on the outside, he's going to have to do it he's going to have to get to his outside center of the corner. So this way the 18 can't try to cut him off on corner exit and slow him down. He can get to him in the middle of the corner. The 18 is going to have to give him room on corner exit, and that's going to force him to that's going to help him get the position.
Well, he's going to have to throw caution to the wind as it's energy drink on energy drink battling with those 2 Toyotas for 2nd and 3rd.
Safe Light is not an energy drink, sir.
Safe Light? No, he's in a Rowdy Energy.
I'm seeing Safe Light.
Yeah, no, he's in a Rowdy Energy Toyota Tundra tonight.
Oh, well, there you go.
Worrell clatters the wall coming off a 2. That's going to cost him a little bit of momentum as Parker Collins is driving as much out of his rearview mirror as he is out the windshield of that truck.
Yeah, no, there comes a time where you just completely ignore what's going on in front and take a look at behind. And that's kind of where Collins is at. He's not trying to attack that 48 anymore. He's trying to keep the 97 of Worrell behind him.
Worrell throws it to the inside, door to door, coming through 3 and 4. Worrell giving Collins plenty of room on the top shelf. He's got to be careful because Greg Barnett is right there within striking distance. But, you know, this is something we've seen Worrell do in a lot of other leagues. Makes his debut and immediately goes to the podium.
Yeah, he had that inside line coming at it too. He just did not have the entry into 3 that he needed to really try to put the pressure on. Now he's going to duck in behind. Just a couple of laps to go here. He's got to start making a move as Nathan Brown looks to the inside of Barnett.
Throw blanket over 2nd through 5th right now. As Collins has 2nd, Worrell has 3rd. Barnett and Brown want to change that. As we are 2 to go. Josh Lilly in command of this one. Popsicle sticks in the air. Lilly is already out to a 2.5 second lead as now this battle for 2nd into lap traffic.
Yep, Josh Lilly well away, 2.5 seconds. Worrell trying to put as much pressure on that 6th heat as he possibly could as the white flag comes out.
We are racing back to checkers. Josh Lilly 3 seconds to the good now. This battle for 2nd is where we're going to stay as here we go. Worrell pulls alongside of the 18.
There goes Worrell. Looking at the inside, he's going to take a big dive here, but Josh Lilly crossing the line now, just a moment from now. Josh Lilly wins round number 5 of the season, coming off at turn 2. Parker Collins just does.
Oi!
Chris Worrell. And Worrell immediately apologizing on the radio for getting into him in turn 1 there after the race.
Absolutely. You see Lilly there, your race winner. Yet another victory for that young man. And again, Frank, 15 years old.
And 16 wins now in this series, 2nd most behind his dad.
As the team boss, Nathan Brown for Brownie Racing, trying to give a push to Lilly. They're playing with twin burnouts there. As we are, where are we? There we are. We are actually going to okay, Josh Lilly is not here.
Well, there you go.
So we are going to reach out as soon as I find him. There he is. We are going to reach out to our 3rd place finisher and open up with him as Lilly does his burnouts.
Chris Worrell, solid night for you on debut. Started a little bit rocky with the spin in qualifying, the spin early on in the race, but you got it figured out. Nice little strategy play, got you home in 3rd.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a blast racing with Parker there at the end. I didn't mean to get into him after the checkered flag there. That kind of sucks. But my foot slipped off the gas when I was checking the relative there. But yeah, I spun early. I didn't have any practice and had my wheel settings kind of messed up. So I spun early and when the pits changed that. And then, you know, just like the name says for the league, it's great clean racing. So I didn't expect to go that long on green flag, you know, runs. So I figured I'd stay out after that 2nd caution and fell back pretty far. Everybody took tires and just blew past me, but luckily I was able to get that caution there at the end, be able to race for a podium.
Now on debut here again, you just mentioned the name of the league is what it is for a reason. What was it like battling with these guys for your first time, and just talk us through the night?
Oh, it was awesome. It seemed like everybody wanted to race you hard for every position, but clean. I don't think I got into maybe like 2 people once, and nobody complained about it. It was just good hard racing, man. Everybody was racing clean. Nobody was complaining over the radio. Yeah, that was just great, especially battling Parker there at the end. I don't know too much about IRP, but I was doing everything I could to not get into him. I was hoping I could get him there at the line, but I was glad we were side by side for that finish. Sorry again, Parker. Didn't mean to get into you after that. That was just a slip of the pedal there, but.
Now we head into, it's just your 2nd race, but we head now to the 2nd half of the season in Michigan this week. What are your thoughts going into the big racetrack at Michigan?
I'd definitely be here next week. That's for sure. This is a lot of fun. This race was awesome. It's not often you can go that long on green flag runs and have guys that'll race you that hard, and have this much fun. So I'll definitely be there. I'm not too worried about points. Hopefully, just make some friends, have some good racing, and yeah, Michigan should be really fun.
All right. Anyone else you want to thank before we let you go?
The league owners, everybody in here that had a lot of fun tonight. Thanks for letting me race tonight, Tony, for giving me the hookup in here. Other than that, balls out racing, and I believe that's it. If I'm missing any sponsors, I apologize. I have no idea what they would be, but Tony will shout them out for me later. I know.
All right, but congratulations on a very successful debut, and we'll see you next week at Michigan, bud.
Thank you. Have a good night.
By the way, with that, we did forget to shout out Ringside Report here tonight. So if any boxing, MMA, wrestling podcast needs, definitely check out Ringside Report,
where all of your normal podcasts are found. And joining us now, Parker Collins, what do you have to do to get a win here in this series? You have been the bridesmaid so many times yet this season.
I honestly don't even know at this point. I feel like we're doing everything right. I just green flag, pit stop strategies. I feel like 1 week I play a strategy, and then the opposite strategy works. So next week I try the opposite strategy, and then the strategy I had the week before works. So it's pretty frustrating. We have this winning speed. Seems like every single week, just can't finish them out. I thought I had a shot at Lily there in that last restart. Just hung her too wide there and got on the fence, and that was all she wrote. So I don't know. I guess just go back to the drawing board and learn all about strategies this week. I don't know.
Well, next week definitely going to be a strategy race as we head to the Irish Hills of Michigan. Your thoughts going into that race next week?
Michigan's a pretty fun track. I enjoy it. It's kind of super speedway type racing with a little bit of lifting. So I think it'll be interesting. Definitely one to look forward to, and hopefully we can come out on the right side of a strategy.
Well, we saw at Daytona you definitely know how to play the draft, and that's going to be a big key next week at Michigan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Parker, congratulations on yet another podium. Who do you need to thank before we turn you loose?
Just all Tiny Dog Racing, guys. Another good week. Hopefully we can get this momentum going and we get us a W.
Parker Collins, we'll see you next week at Michigan.
Yep, thanks, guys.
And Frank, I believe you've got the man of the hour with you right now. Frank? Your mic's muted.
There it was. Josh Lilly, a great run for you here tonight. Up in the top three all night long. How difficult was it, especially once you got up towards the first couple of guys? How difficult was it to pass here tonight?
It was just about impossible to pass. I mean, there were, as you could see, there was earlier in the race, there were 5 cars bumper to bumper there for a few laps, so it was definitely difficult to pass.
Quite a different race from what we're used to here. Able to get around just a little bit, but still a very fun night here at Lucas Oil Raceway. We head to Michigan next week. What are your thoughts going into the big 2-miler? It's kind of a super speedway race for these cars.
Oh, it's my home. Literally, it's my home. I can't wait to. I really hope I can win. That'd be really cool to win at my home track. I'll be at the race in person the day before, so I don't know how tired I would be, but hopefully I can get the win.
You're young, you'll be fine.
That's true.
Anyone you want to thank before we let you celebrate a win here, bud?
Okay, I want to thank Fred for creating this league and putting it on. I want to thank you guys for broadcasting it, and I also want to thank all my teammates for helping me prepare for this race.
All right, your race winner, his 16th career win here in the CleanRacing.net Truck Series. Josh Lilly, bud, congratulations.
Thank you.
And Frank, that puts another one in the books for us tonight, as we're just going to bring that up. Josh Lilly, of course, coming home with the victory. Parker Collins hanging on for second. Again, another podium finish, just not the top step that he's looking for. And Chris Worrell in his debut coming home in third. Greg Barnett hangs on for fourth. Nate Brown in fifth. So two of the Brownie Racing cars coming home inside the top 5. And all 4 of them inside the top 15. So good run for Brownie Racing here tonight. As Abram Goston in his series debut coming home in 6th. Joey Stiers rebounds for 7th after being quite a ways back for most of the race. Jason Higginbottom, Evan Kinney, and Austin Carey rounding out both your lead lap trucks and your top 10.
Jeremy Moore, Jacob Grant, Mike McCrae had a very quiet night, but comes home with a solid 13th. John Anthony and Chris Smith, through the issues that he had late in the race, still came home in 15th. Brian Toole, Daniel Sykes, Adam Duff, Dustin Harrell, and Darren Staff coming home in the top 20. Stephen Tuck, Lane Hosler, and Frederick Garcia rounding out the field. From Brian Toole in 16th on down, did not finish this race.
Well, it was a tough track as we thought it was going to be. But next week we go into the Irish Hills of Michigan. And Frank, I know we both have a love-hate relationship with that place. Love to broadcast from there, hate to drive there because it is such a treacherous track to get around at speed.
Yeah, it is quite wild, and it can get very, very difficult at times, and especially around there in the trucks when you just want to take a second to breathe. You know you're not going to have it because, again, it's like a super speedway race, especially with cars at the power and the ability of these trucks. It's another Daytona, it's another Talladega. You're not going to have room to take a breath. You're going to have to be up on the wheel all race, and when there is an accident, it's usually big.
It is at that, but we'd like to thank everybody for joining us this evening. Stay tuned on this channel as we've got a triple header tomorrow night for you with the AARL Trucker Speed America Cup Series from Pocono. That's an 8:20 Eastern Time start on that one. And then a half hour later, we go to the Rickmatech Cup Series from my home in Watkins Glen. And the nightcap, as always, on Tuesday nights, the Western States Racing League. They will be back here at Lucas Oil. That's a 10:05 Eastern start on that one. And then Wednesday is going to be kicked off at about 8 p.m. Eastern Time with the Ghost Cup Series from Hotlanta. So for Mr. Frank Marchese, go ahead.
This is the Ghost Xfinity Series.
Ghost Xfinity, sorry.
And Thunderclap begins the playoffs, first round of the playoffs in the trucks at Rockingham.
Yes.
On Wednesday night at 10 after 8. So a very busy couple of days. 5 races over the next 2 nights.
Absolutely. I know you and I are really excited to go to Rockingham, as it's going to be one of the first times we've been able to team up at a broadcast from there. But that is going to about do it for us here tonight from the CleanRacing.net Truck Series, round number 6 in the books. For Mr. Frank Marchese, thank you so much for being my broadcast partner tonight. This is Tony Chapass, reminding you, ladies and gentlemen, that as you walk down the road of life this week, don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.